is Johnny. Folks, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. It is the weekend, and it has been one heck of a week. And I've got to tell you, folks, one of the things that keeps me going, keeps this show going, keeps us going is that we support each other and we help each other. I love helping people, folks. I feel like that's kind of what I do, right? That's why I'm here, is to help people. I realized that, I don't know, several months ago, a year ago, something like that, when I was like, what's my reason to be? What's the point of this all? Well, even though you have a purpose, right, it doesn't make it easy, but at least we know what our purpose is, right? And that makes it better, and we support each other, and that makes it better. Whether someone needs a little bit of help, someone needs a lot of help, we're here for each other, and we're going to have to start relying on each other, us Americans, because the government is no longer on our side. I think it has become self-evident. Self-evident. Here we are at the weekend, and I've got just a steaming pile of crap. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Kamala Harris. Thank you, Nancy Pelosi. Thank you, Chuck Schumer. Thank you, mainstream media. Thank you, medical community. Thank you, Democrat Party. Thank you, globalist corporate aristocracy. All right, folks, but, how do we want to start this? What am I kind of talking about here? Well, we've been hearing about these Haitians, right? Oh, by the way, this is the Q&A show. You guys get to put your Q&A questions out to me, and we're going to talk about them. We're going to kind of wrap this weekend up. And on Patreon, you'll have the worldwide weekly wrap-up, uncensored tomorrow. I'm sure I'm going to be in a fantastical mood. But we all need to get some rest over this weekend, and shit's going to happen all weekend. Have no doubts, right? But you can get some rest, recharge, folks, recharge your batteries. I think we all need to do that, recharge a little bit. We have Sunday Night Live at 6 p.m. on Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a heck of a show, I think. I think there's going to be a lot of stupid going down this weekend. And to give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I say stupid, right? We've heard that, well, they're sending Haitian illegal, unlawful migrants, aliens, they're sending them back to Haiti. Well, that's only partially true. Like all things in the media, folks, they give us a little bit of truth and then they tack on a bunch of lies and bullshit. What the Biden administration is actually doing in the stealth of the night. And I'm glad somebody's shining the flashlight of truth on them. But what they're doing in the middle of the night is they're quietly sending them into communities across America. Your community may end up with, folks, some Haitian migrants, some Afghanis, some Mexicans. Remember a couple of months ago when it was just, these Mexican immigrants, they're here illegally, they're getting across the border. Joe Biden is letting in 200,000 of them a month. What are we going to do about this? And they're busing them here and busing them there. They're taxing the system. Because all these people do is take. Well, Friday morning, Liz Peek joined Maria Bartiromo on Fox News. And I think that Maria is still doing a great job. But what Peek told all of us via Fox News, that Joe, mind your own business, Biden. Joe, I'm not going to answer any fucking questions. Joe, I'm going to act all indignant, is moving migrants in the dead of the night on planes and buses to communities across America. And that's not counting the ones that are stealing buses, folks. Communities aren't being told this is coming. They're just all of a sudden there. Figure it out, America. They're dumping people all over us, folks. I used to think, America's too good for this. They can bring in North African, they can bring in Middle Eastern, they can bring in Asian migrants into Europe and just dump them all over Europe. Hundreds of thousands and millions of them. Just dump them on everybody. And I thought they can get away with that in Europe, but they won't get away with that in America. I guess I was wrong, huh? They're getting away with it now because there's nobody nobody able to stop them. Now, there are people capable of fixing the problem. And here's where we're at in SHTF. Right now, folks, shit has hit the fan. Things are bad and they're getting worse. Bad decisions are made, causing even bigger problems. There is law enforcement out there that would stop this, folks. There are patriotic Americans who would stand behind them, next to them, and even charge out in front and fix this themselves. American citizens, private people. But people are being stopped. Law enforcement is being told no and stand down. In fact, I'm going to give you this. This is going to blow you away when I tell you about this. It is incredible. I've got a list of stuff to talk about that's incredibly long. Well, you know, these not only are they busing and flying these people around, the Haitians are stealing buses, folks. Stealing buses. Unbelievable. And I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find it. There are so many stories. Essentially, Joe Biden has said that we're coming after you. Now, is he talking about the criminal element? Nope. Who's he talking about? He's talking about the Border Patrol agents, these ICE agents, these Department of Homeland Security guys, these people that are trained to use horses as a vehicle to get over rough country. And the commander-in-chief is saying that they are in trouble and that they're going to pay. Can you believe that? They're going to pay for what they've done. Well, they haven't done everything. In fact, folks, this is so disgusting. Even the cameraman that took the picture, who works for the media, he said there was no whipping going on. These guys on horses weren't running over Haitians with their horses or whipping them. They were trying to capture them. They were using their techniques properly. It's a complete and total lie. And on top of that now, to pour lemon juice and salt in a fresh cut, Al Sharpton is there, folks. That little turd from New York City, that little race-baiting pile of crap, who makes everything about race. This is not about race. Haitians are not being turned around because they're black. They're being turned around because they're Haitians. They don't know our laws. They don't know our culture. They have no business being here. In fact, we'd still like to know who the fuck sent them and paid for it. But Al Sharpton is down there making this about race. And the Texans are having none of it. They're telling him to go home. That Texas, Del Rio, is a good, honest, hardworking community full of love for America and Texas, and that they don't need him. They said, hey, get out of Texas. It is incredible, folks. It is incredible what is going on in our country. What are we going to do about it, folks? You know, there's a lot of people that, you know, believe that because the government and the court system have taken God out of our courtrooms, out of our government buildings, taken God out of our schools, and God is now not good. It's taboo, right? I don't talk about a lot of religious stuff on here. I don't. It's not a religious channel. It's about secular things. But there is the belief that when they took God out of our institutions, and that's what they are, folks, institutions, that we quit being godly, or that is thinking in terms that are moral. Now everything is amoral. It's subjectively moral. There's moral justification used to do whatever they want. Now, there's a high school football team, and I want to bring this up because I want to blow some positive energy into this thing, right? A high school football team was told by the school board that they were not allowed to gather for team prayer after a game. So, folks, one can take a knee. One can have an act of submission on that knee and speak to a human, dead or alive, and be praised by the media for taking that BLM knee. And it's encouraged by politicians. It's promoted by politicians and is protected by lawyers. Take a knee to pray to God and be threatened with punishment and lawsuits. So one can steal a patriot's American flag off of his property, burn that flag, and they will neither be investigated, prosecuted, or prohibited from continuing that behavior. It's protected speech. But take a rainbow flag or a BLM flag and burn it, you will be arrested. You will be prosecuted and charged with hate crimes, which add additional penalties to their insane ideas already, folks. Well, America is starting to resist these demands by these left-wing, anti-God, American-hating idiots. This high school football team said, nope, too bad. And they disobeyed the school board. They defied them. And they joined one another, took a knee in prayer after their football game. Good for them. And someone noted and said, hey, Satan's power was defeated tonight. Folks, that's really what this is about, defeating evil. Whether you give it a proper name or you see it for what it is, corrupt, immoral, and abominable. Kind of like Gavin Newsom. He is a seriously abominable human being who has now, folks, get this, he just got through his recall election, and what has he done? What has he done? Unbelievable. He has signed a bill in California, passed a law, in other words, saying that children, little children, folks, can get sex change operations, abortions, and they can hide it legally from their parents. Unbelievable. Anyways, you know, Joe Biden is anti-police. Joe Biden is race pandering. Right? It's incredible what's going on in this country. The things that they will do and say, folks, and then the things they'll try and deny us. Freedom, liberty, your rights. The right to pray. It doesn't matter that it's on public property. In fact, because it's public property, I don't know how any government, whether it's local, state, or federal, has any right to tell you what you can or can't do on it. It is a misinterpretation of constitutional law. It is a misapplication of justice to say that on public property you're prohibited, when the First Amendment clearly states that the government shall make no law abridging, which means stopping or taking away, or promoting any such activity. This is happening more often than not now, folks, believe it or not. It is happening more often than not. We've seen this happen with opening city council or county council chambers with a prayer, and these anti-God. As soon as they say no prayer, what are they saying actually? They're saying, you can't hold us accountable. We don't have a moral standard. This is what it's going to come down to, folks. It really is. I am not a big evangelist, but there are a lot of people out there that are absolutely evil. And we can see what they're doing. It is just plain old evil. Now, I want to give you another positive, upbeat, uplifting story, folks. In the great state of Florida. Wish I was there. But, you know, I'm in the great state of XXXXX. Love Texas, folks. Love Mississippi. Anyways, the governor there, DeSantis, has nominated a new Surgeon General. And he rocks the House, brings it down, and says, hey, we are done with fear. Which way do you think Florida is going, folks? Which way do you think the free states are looking? Do you think they're looking for more lockdowns? Do you think they're looking for more tyranny? Or do you think they actually have something going, right? This idea of freedom and liberty. I've talked to people in Florida, folks. They love their governor there. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect, but by golly, they're free. Texans, same story, folks. They love their governor. Nobody's perfect. You know, some love him more than others, but they're free. freer than everyone else. And that matters, folks. It matters. Now I'm going to dive right back into this shit. I've got a lot of stories, folks, that I can't share with you through video medium. In fact, I want to bring this up right now. Please focus, pay special close attention. I want everyone's attention, please. 100%. Stop typing in the comment section. Stop it. Jolene had a terrific idea today. She said, John, we have access to websites where people can get medical assistance via the phone or through the internet. People need medical assistance through the phone or the internet, and they can be prescribed appropriate medication from an appropriate real doctor, medical experts. None of this is illegal. None of this is shady. This is very common, kind of like goodrx.com. Okay, you can get via the internet, either on the internet or through a phone call, you can get medical assistance now. You pay a fee, you get to have a conversation with a doctor, they talk about what your problem is, and they get you what you need. I can't say the names of treatments, illnesses, or pharmaceuticals, but what I can tell you is we want to put this at the club, thepreparedmind.club. We're going to put links. Jolene, this is a great idea. Thank you so much. You are an angel. She really is, folks. And she wants to make this available for everyone. I mean, we put a lot of information on Patreon about medications and doctors and treatments and what's going on in the world, stuff I can't talk about specifically. We can put that information there and you guys can get it on Patreon only. If we put it on the club, we could be removed by some high-tech company that just comes in and squashes us, right? So I can't talk about the drugs. I can't try and sell the drugs, and I don't want to because I'm not allowed to. I'm not a doctor. But I can put you in touch with people who can give you medical assistance. Right now, over the last couple of days, folks, I've had people I know say, cerveza bug got me. And I took the appropriate medication and am very pleased with the very quick results. So I know folks directly now. And look out, folks. You know, this looks like, looks like gain of function technology is being turned loose on us. So we need to be very careful and very cognizant of it, very aware, keep our health in order, keep our minds in order, keep our bodies in order. Anyways, thank you, Jolene, for putting this up. It's going to be up. I don't know when it'll be up, but check at thepreparedmind.club. That is our resource, folks. This is something that we're not going to get paid for at all. This is just something we want to put up there. You have a right to get medical assistance. Hospitals right now, folks, are turning people away because they haven't got the Jim Jones juice, right? If you don't get your zombie juice, and I hope everyone enjoyed Mr. T's zombie juice energy drink commercial that he made, that parody, kind of made the point, but you do, folks. I think everyone should have access. Everyone should have the ability to get help. Nobody should be turned away. Hospitals right now are turning people away based on their prejudicial political belief that if you don't do what they say, then they don't have to help you. That's against the law. It is against the fucking law. I'll tell you what, at The Prepared Mind, we're going to do something about it. Thank you, Jolene, for thinking about it, researching it, and then making sure we can get this out there. You know, again, I'm not a doctor, and I don't even play one on TV, folks, but we can put you in touch with a legitimate company that uses the internet and the telephone to do such things, to help you out. A lot of people are looking for this help. A lot of people are wanting to get prescriptions for medications, right? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, to get the medicines you need to act as a prophylactic, to act as a treatment. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you what to do, but we're going to make it available to you, folks. Patreon has been really good, folks. They could knock us right off of YouTube anytime they want. That's why I do want you at Patreon. And you guys here at Patreon, you are the guerrilla warriors. You're in the trenches with us. All right, folks, welcome back. There's something that's really important that has to happen. No government, no matter how much paper they print, no matter how many lies they tell, ultimately and eventually they run out of production, goods, food, fuel. Eventually they run out of stuff. People have to go back to work. No matter how despotic the country is, the government, they have to at some point let up on the people. Now, in our case here in America, they're trying to break us, right? Over in Europe, they're doing the same thing. They want to break the people. But in the United Kingdom, that is jolly old England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, the government is now telling people to stop panic buying. Panic buying. This same thing happened when I was a very young lad in the UK. I wasn't in the UK, but in the UK, they had what was called the winter of discontent, right? We had hyperinflation here in the United States of America. We had hard times in America. They had theirs over there, folks. They called it the winter of discontent. The people remember, and they're buying. That is, they're buying all they can off the shelves. In other words, they're becoming preppers. And it doesn't take much prepping, folks, to clear the shelves and to bring that country to its knees. Remember, they've been harder on people in Europe than they have been to us in America. They've been harder on them, believe it or not. And they see what's coming. Now, additionally, and I have to be very careful talking about this, the government, let me finish this thought though. The government is saying, stop your panic buying. Well, who caused the fucking panic in the first place there, government? British government, hello, you guys started it with all of your bullshit about cerveza bug, locking people down, telling them everyone's going to fucking die, while your leaders, your political leaders, went out and had their fucking orgies and their dinner parties and whatever else they do. Bunch of hypocrites and liars, just like here in this country, the leadership or the political leadership. Not much of a leadership. They're a bunch of hypocrites and liars. Did I say that enough? Anyone, what's very important here, and I have to be very careful. In the United Kingdom, scientists think that by next spring, cerveza bug won't matter, right? My opinion about this is at some point, folks, they have to let up on the nonsense. Even the New World Order needs money, productivity, and a relatively compliant population. By next spring, they will have as many people as possible jacked up on the juice, and they could, right? They're going to have enough massive health problems because of what they're pushing and possibly deaths to keep Big Pharma rolling in the dough for decades to come as a result of the damage they've done. But in the UK, they're talking about winding down the hysteria. Once again, they don't want panic buying, then stop doing the panic porn. Eventually they're going to wind this down, folks. They have to, because it is grinding the economies to a halt, right? Don't worry, folks, though. Even though cerveza bug will be gone at some point, they will have new boogeymen to frighten us with all the time. It is coming. Now, that's the UK saying next spring. I've got some more interesting stuff. And again, I have to be very careful. I believe in Norway. Where do I go for this? Here we are. In Norway, they're now comparing cerveza bug just to flu. England says they're going to call it a cold. It's going to be compared to the cold by next spring. Right now, Norway is saying it's a flu. They need to get rid of it over there because they're crashing their systems too hard. They can't sustain everything if there is no productivity. Shelves are getting cleared off. They're having food and fuel availability issues over in the UK, and we're starting to see it here in America. I'm getting more and more reports of people who go into stores and are seeing empty shelves and low quantities of meat, folks. Whew, I tell you. Now, I want to be very careful with this as well. We've got some great Patreon articles that you can't get anywhere if you're on YouTube, but you can get them here on Patreon. In Wisconsin, they've got a hot situation. They found out that there's 23,000 voters that have the same phone number on their registry. Yep, apparently there's a house somewhere where everyone's registered to vote where they all have the same phone number, 23,000 of them. And guess what? In this very small county, there's 8,000 people who all registered in 1918. I don't know if they're still alive today, because if they were, it would all make them 103. Do you think there's one county in Wisconsin that has 8,000 people? 8,000 people who are all registered, not in 19, 17, 16, 14, not in 19, 19, 20, or 21, or 22, or 23. 8,000 of them that were all registered in 1918. Now, here's the other thing. They weren't born in 1918. Yeah, let's look at this. They were registered in 1918. That means they were born at the latest in the year 1900. So they registered at age 18 in 1918. That would make them 121 years old. Do you think there's 8,000 voters in one county that are 121 years old? Folks, I don't think there's a single person who's 121 years old alive in our country. I don't think so. And I certainly don't believe there's 8,000 of them in one fucking county. Interesting, no? Now, is it just that these registered voters are still on the rolls? Has somebody been voting for them? I think the good people of Wisconsin have a few questions that they want some answers to. All right. I mean, folks, where do I go next? Have you gotten your questions into Jolene? Right? I've got so much to go over. So much. Let's just stick with some supply issues. In the United States, several states are seeing liquor shortages. That's right, folks. Beer, wine, hard liquor. And Pennsylvania is going to start rationing alcoholic beverages. We've got supply issues in Vermont, New Jersey, Ohio. Folks, this is part of the bread and circus, keeping people entertained. Keep them fed, keep them liquored up, keep them entertained. They're losing control of the system, folks. Sports suck. Nobody wants to watch their shitball sports. So what does that leave people? Food and alcoholic beverages. Well, they're starting to lose control, folks. They're going to need to let up on this, aren't they? But they don't want to let up. They want to punish us more. So the bad guys are fighting with the bad guys over how much to screw us over in order to make themselves feel good about their system. Shit has hit the fan, folks. It is not going to be pretty, and it's just going to get worse. You don't just say, okay, everybody, sorry, we're done with that stuff. Everything's fine now. Everyone behave, go back to work. Everything's cool. That's not how it works, folks. It's going to take years to fix these problems. And in fact, I was speaking with Chris B. Bacon last night, and he says, you know what? There's experts now that are saying we still aren't feeling all of the effects of these shutdowns, this this monetary fuckery with mortgages and rent, job losses, business closures. We haven't even begun to see all of the problems with it, much less see the problems, study the problems, offer solutions to the problems, and then it takes time to fix those problems. In other words, we've got a lot more to go down before we can even begin to start turning this thing up. And it's not us, is it? I'm not the one that asked for this bullshit. Did you? I don't fucking think so. Right? It's Washington, D.C. It's the Democrat Party. It's Joe Biden. It's 90 proof fucking Nancy. It's Governor Whitmore. It's Governor Pritzker. It's Governor Cuomo. It's Governor Newsom. It's Governor Inslee. It's Governor Brown. It's all these left-wing scumbag douches. Like fucking Beetlejuice Lightfoot in Chicago. Everyone can Lollapalooza blow in everyone's face, but that's not a problem. Even though we've been told that if you've got the Jim Jones juice, you can still get cerveza bug, you can still get sick with it, you can still spread it, but it's okay to have thousands and thousands and thousands of people face to face. That's fine, right? But fuck everyone else. That's the game they're playing, folks. Punish, punish, punish. Oh, by the way, I wanted to bring this up. As predicted, right here on the Prepared Mind channel, hey folks, I said governments can make cryptos illegal anytime they want. They can tax them, they can regulate them, or they can just fucking outlaw them. So what's in your digital wallet? Well, get this, folks. In China, they have declared all virtual currency transactions illegal. China has outlawed all virtual currency transactions. Whatever the fuck that means, sounds to me like it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, whatever these coins are. They're not really coins. I've never seen a coin. The only coin I've seen actually was a 1 ounce, 1 troy ounce silver silver coin that Uman sent me a couple of years ago. That's the only real coin I've seen, and it even had a serial number, a little registry thing, but it was real. That's the only real coin I've ever seen. Funny how they make a Bitcoin and a picture of it with a B, and they present it as a piece of gold as if that's what it really is. In all truth, folks, you'll never see a Bitcoin with your eyes. Nope. They're invisible. You'll never see them. Folks, we've gone through the first half an hour. We're at the bottom of the hour, and from the bottom of the hour back up to the top, we're going to climb out of this shithole. It is the weekend, and we're going to look, listen, learn from your questions, your comments about what you want to discuss.
Are you ready?
All righty, here we are. It is the Q&A section. It is the weekend, folks. We made it. What do you want to discuss? We've got Ronan checking in. He says, John, I think Creepy Joe should get the horse's ass award for taking away the Border Patrol's horses. I love it, man. That's true. You know, he wants to stop the Border Patrol. I think they should stop, and his head can go right up in there. In fact, wasn't that a scene from, Police Academy, #1? Yeah, I think it was #1. May have been #2, but certainly, folks, he is the horse's ass. Absolutely incredible. The horse's ass award, of course. Well, I haven't done it this week, but I think I'll do it in the Worldwide Weekly Wrap-Up Uncensored. But we certainly have a lot of candidates, do we not? We've got old horse face, AOC. We've got horse's ass, multiple winner, Joe Biden. We've got the invisible asshole. How did he just disappear? Where did General Milley go? Did anyone fix the problem? Has he been arrested? What about Hunter Biden? Didn't they pulled out Hunter Biden to distract us from General Milley. And General Milley was used to distract us from Joe Biden and what he did in Afghanistan. And so here we are. Who's on the hot seat now? We're back to Joe Biden again over these Haitians. But what about Hunter Biden? Everything that was illegal on his laptop is still there, and everything General Milley did is wrong is still there. And whatever the hell happened to Governor Cumho? I mean, I'm pretty sure that he sexually harassed, sexually assaulted. He's been accused of that as well. And then also threatened and used retribution. That is, punish people to silence them. He's broken all kinds of laws. And I guess if you just admit nothing, deny everything, and then just resign your position, you don't get prosecuted for crimes. So if I were to rob a bank, I guess I would just say, okay, I resign from being the prepared mind. Hasta la vista. And the government was like, okay, whew, the world is safe now. John is no longer going to be on the Prepared Mind channel. So, no, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So why aren't these people, all of them, being prosecuted? Because we have a corrupt, godless, piece of shit system, folks. Our Constitution is laying in shambles and not being protected by those who swore an oath to protect it. All right, we got Greg Madera. He says, I heard they're sending the Afghans to red states. They named Florida as one. Your thoughts? Well, where I'm at in the South, I have not seen one person or heard one person say, I'm from Afghanistan. But I've heard, yeah, they're sending them everywhere. And strictly, not strictly, the complaint is that they're sending them to red states. And the supposition is that it's a form of punishment. It is a financial burden on the government and the people, right? The government doesn't have any money. They take it from the people, and then the government has to decide, well, how are we going to spend this? And then we better spend it on these fucking losers. They got sent in here by our government, who created the problem in the first place and made them from being Afghan citizens into loser migrants that are now here. And that's the good ones, folks. The bad ones are the Taliban that have snuck in. What a shit show. Yeah, they want political instability. They want non-Americans that don't know jack shit about this country running loose. What are they doing? Sexually assaulting people, committing crimes. Who was it? Wasn't there a lady who was assaulted, attacked, or was she murdered for gardening? And an Afghani thought that just wasn't good. Women shouldn't be in public gardening. Are you kidding me? Oh, folks, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Let's move on if we shall. We've got Two Owls checks in and says, I can hear the sarcasm. So, on the lucky Americans that got out of Afghanistan, where are they? Anyone see a news story with one? That is a very interesting observation. And that, again, is why I love the Q&A section of the videos. I love it that you guys on Patreon are willing to engage in conversation. Yeah, we had anywhere from, the government couldn't give us a number, so other authorities or shall we say analysts said, well, we could have between 20 and 50,000 Americans that were in Afghanistan. And supposedly, according to our government, all but just a couple hundred are back, even though experts on the ground over there are saying, no, there's still thousands of them. Okay, there's thousands of them over there. Didn't the U.S. government say that they have an agent for each and every one of them, representing them, trying to get them back? What a crock of shit. Right, so they're still over there. That's still a problem. Hasn't been resolved, hasn't been fixed. Right now, folks, there are people in Afghanistan who are Americans who are scared to death, who might be hungry, starving, who might be in jail, who might be being beaten, or worse, folks, tortured in many ways that I don't want to get into the description of, or just executed. And Joe Biden is doing what? Eating a fucking ice cream cone and lying about everything that he can? Well, so Two Owls says, has anyone seen a news story? Has the mainstream media, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNBC, CNN, Fox News, has anyone done a news story to talk to one of these Americans that came back from Afghanistan to get their side of the story, to ask them their opinions? No, the media is not playing this up, are they? What a great news story to have to expose what happened in Afghanistan, the way people felt, right? The news used to be good for that. We would get some facts. We would get some opinions from people who are, now all we get is opinions of news people and fucking pundits. I don't give a shit what they think. I can pundit myself all I want. I don't need their freaking opinions. But hey, people in Afghanistan, Americans that made it back, I want to hear. What did you see? What did you see when you were there? What was the Taliban doing? Were there other terror groups? What were other Americans doing and saying? We want to fucking know. The media wants to pretend like it never happened. They want to shut the door on that. They want to paint it over and then go, hey, look, Hunter Biden, and distract all of us. Nothing's going to happen to Hunter Biden, folks. Nothing's going to happen to General Milley. Nothing's going to happen to Governor Cumho. Nothing's going to happen to Nancy Pence. Nothing's going to happen to Hillary Clinton. We've got FJP13, and he says, has anyone from Biden down explained how scientifically, that's their word, how scientifically the those who have declined to drink Kool-Aid, has anyone from the administration explained how those who did not drink the Kool-Aid are a threat to those who did drink the Kool-Aid? And he's asking for a friend. Of course you are, man. Well, I have to be very careful. But what I can say is the new variants, the mutants out there, they're so powerful that even if you've had Kool-Aid, it can break through it. That's why they call them breakthrough cases. It breaks through it. So as good as the Kool-Aid is, it's not 100% foolproof. Well, you mentioned the word science. We're not getting a whole lot of science these days. We're getting a lot of political grandstanding. We're getting a lot of hyperbole. We're getting a lot of fear porn. But we're not getting a lot of scientific explanation. We're not getting a lot of accurate statistics. Statistics, folks, come from organizations, both private and government, that compile data that is recorded. And it has now been demonstrated that they are not keeping data properly, that it is being skewed, and then they're just ignoring the numbers that they do have, because none of it supports their narrative. That simple, folks. Just remember, they're the experts. We're supposed to listen to them. Steve, USMC is back in the house, and Semper Fi to you, brother. Let's see what you have to say. He says, I see now how the Germans during World War II got to be the way they were. It's brainwashing that everything is normally taught in schools. Now, as Beck has said, if this keeps up, we will make the Nazis look like rookies. Some troops will turn on us. We have gone over the cliff. I would like to address this fully, but I don't necessarily need to take the rest of the half an hour. In Germany, folks, in Germany, the people were divided into two groups, primary groups, those that were for Hitler, those that were against Hitler. There were other groups, though, that were demonized, dehumanized, that got the blame, like the Jews in particular, gypsies, other minorities were singled out and exterminated or sent to concentration camps where they were worked to death. Either way, many, many, many died. Now, back into Germany. And I recommend going and reading all of this for yourselves. I'm just going to tell you what I've learned and what I've determined is probably a good, accurate picture. Not everyone supported Hitler that were free Germans. Not everyone was a member of the Nazi Party, folks. To be a member of the Nazi Party, to wear that pin on your lapel, whether you're a woman or a man, you had to pay money. You had to be a member of their club, a member of their tribe. You would have to be a paying member. Not everyone was a member of the Nazi Party. Now, you could be a loyal supporter, and certainly everyone in Germany was forced to be obedient. That is, Remember how we used to say Nazis would see you and say, papers, please? And people, you were like, you don't ever fucking ask me for my papers. I didn't commit a crime. I'm not giving you my fucking papers. Now they want to see your fucking papers just to go buy a frickin' candy bar at the store, right? Now, not everyone loved Hitler in Germany. In fact, it was a very, shall we say, moderate number. It was not overwhelmingly 95%. No. But could people speak up against the Fuhrer, against the Reichsfuhrer, against Rudolf Hess, against Himmler? They had their minister of propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, okay? They had Riefenstahl. They had all of their propaganda people, folks. Look up Riefenstahl if you want. These people were good at what they did. Our country right now is doing the same thing. They've divided us into a first and a second class system. They have a certain group of people that they want to demonize and villainize and put in prison camps. And that would keep the rest of everybody in line. You may not like the left-wing, fascio-communist, Marxist regime in Washington, D.C. You may not like them, but at least you're not in prison, right? They'll use fear to keep everyone else in line. That's what the Nazis did. They kept everyone in line, whether you loved the Hitler or not. And they did that by making an example out of those that they hated the most. America has a chance to do the exact same thing. To join Nazi Germany. Only this time, folks, it's not just Germany. It's not just the United States of America. It will be the entire world government structure doing this to their own people. They're going to proclaim another country altogether as their enemy. Lock down their country. Sounding like 1984, right? Is this George Orwell's fucking story or what? Where the government has people that it knows don't like it, but they can keep them in control with fear. How did the Germans do it? The same way they're doing it now, using fear, threats, violence. These punks on the street like Antifa and BLM and Black Bloc and the rest of those clowns. They really can't hurt us, but the news will make them look like it, and then the politicians will let them get away with it. How can we stop it? Well, Americans have guns. And we can decide at any point, are we going to go as far as the Germans did and give up trying to remove? Now, I want to go this far. Again, this is a very interesting story. You may not know it, but there were at least 12 attempts to assassinate Adolf Hitler. The most famous of which was Operation Valkyrie, in which a contingent of military personnel were engaged in a conspiracy to blow up Hitler and to take over the government using Hitler's own special plans, Operation Valkyrie, by blaming the SS. By blaming the SS for the attempted or for the assassination. Problem is they didn't kill Hitler. They didn't kill all of the big guys. They blew him up, but they did not kill him. So Hitler was able to take control of Germany again after a few short hours. And Operation Valkyrie, as an assassination coup attempt in order to get rid of Hitler and restore the German Republic, failed. What are we going to see in the United States of America to make this all just fucking go away and bring us back our Constitution and our laws? Is a contingent of military personnel going to pull an Operation Valkyrie of sorts? I'm sure Americans would love to see the military do something to fix this fucking abomination of a government. Germany did not allow free speech, folks. Neither did the Soviet Union, neither does China, because it still exists as a communist controlled government operating in a fascist economic system. What are we going to see happen here, folks? Everyone wants somebody else to handle it. At some point, violence is going to break out. The military is going to get involved. The police will be involved. The people are going to be involved. It's going to be ugly. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good idea, but it's going to happen. Get ready. Get prepared, folks. That's number one. Get prepared. We got Mick who checks in and says, you got me thinking about true or not to do with history. Could it be possible that in World War I and II, all the countries of the world were fighting to erase Tartaria and not what history tells us? Oh, you want to bring in the Tartars, do you? Revisionism, history revisionism, what people believe. If you want to look up what Tartaria is, folks, or the Tartars, you will just need to go look on the internet. The information is there. There's a lot of interesting theories, mud flood theory. There's a lot of timeline issues that they say, look, the Western history is not 2,000 years old. It's only a couple hundred years old, that they've lied about so many things. There's a lot of weird shit out there, folks. But I don't need, me personally, I've enjoyed looking into these interesting theories and tangential roads into history and what is real and not. Right now, though, I've got something in my face that is just screaming at me to deal with it. And that is this Shit It's the Fan episode. I would love to know the real history of the Tartars. I would love to know the real history of all of the floods going back to the antediluvian times. It's just now SHTF is all over us and we're having to deal with it. I want you to make sure you've got at least 3 months of food, at least. And that needs to include meat, not just rice, not just beans, not just corn, not just potatoes. You need meat. Like per person, a quarter pound of meat a day. That's a lot. It can be done though, folks. You can do this. We can all do it. At some point, the balloon is going to go up and we're going to have some Mad Max action. Is the military going to be involved? I don't know. Are the people going to get involved? I don't know. I just know that if you're not prepared, you're going to be in a lot worse condition than you would be if you were prepared. All right, we got James says, if you have precious metals shipped to you from a 401 type account, how many times do you have to pay taxes on the metals by the time you decide to convert them to cash at a later date? Boy, I don't know. If you have a 401 type account, and I'm not a tax person, so this is not advice, it's just discussion. I recommend you talk to your tax preparer or you talk to your accountant and find out, can I take money out of my investment account, my 401k or other account? Can I take money out of that and without suffering a tax penalty? Without suffering a tax penalty, can I transfer it into precious metals, physical precious metals? They'll tell you. And I think in some ways, in some cases, yes. In other cases, no. So the professionals can help you there. Now, with regard to selling it for some form of currency, like let's just say we still have a US dollar in 10 years, and you're like, I've got some silver coins and I'm going to go sell them for US dollars. If the number doesn't exceed a threshold, like right now they've lowered the reportable income transfer or reportable cash transfer from $10,000 down to $600, so the government can keep an even closer eye on us, right? So if you sell an ounce of, or you, let's just say you buy an ounce of silver today for 20 bucks, 25 bucks, and in 10 years you sell it for $400. You've made an appreciable number of dollars more, but in my opinion, there's going to be a lot of inflation trying to chew that up. Do you have to report it? In other words, will you have to pay taxes on it? I don't know. I don't know what the laws will be in the future, but the government always tends to put itself in the way. If you trade straight across, if you say, I've got this 1 ounce of silver and I would like to buy, 5 pounds of ground beef. Odds are you're going to get the ground beef, they're going to get the coin, and everyone's happy. We got a shit show coming, folks. You may need to make the best decisions you can. I do not like leaving, I don't like the idea of leaving $100,000 in a bank, because that bank account can be closed, it can be seized, and that's the end of it. I see that as an act of war by a government or a crime by a corporation if they do that to an individual. But, you know, that's the world we live in. It's very risky. All right, we've got Doc Holiday checking in. Doc Holiday Guns and 2A. He says, do you know of a discount food store online? You're not going to find discount food anywhere, man. There is no such thing as a discount anymore. Now, if there were to be a discount, it would probably be Amazon. I don't like to tell people to use Amazon because Amazon, like Walmart and many other major corporations, does everything it can to screw over mom and pop, the little guy, us. But you can get things at a discount. You can get things at volume discounts. But there are also companies on there that will try and screw you. They'll try and charge you $20 for a can of stew. You're thinking you're going to get a case of stew, and they send you a can of stew. So you need to be very, very careful. Your best bet for getting discount foods, folks, is to find a discount foods in your neighborhood or your city. We sell on the preparedmind.club long-term food storage. We've got Thrive there. We've got Patriot Supply. It has been a long fucking week, I tell you. So you can get long-term food storage. I think Thrive tastes the best, period, bar none. The Thrive food products are the absolute best, period, bar none. Others are good, right? My Patriot Supply. Also, we sell not only the Berkey water filter, so you're not drinking chemicals, hormones, drugs that they put in the water, as well as petrochemicals and anything else that's leaked into the water system. Having that, but My Patriot Supply also sells long-term food storage. It's not cheap, but it is what it is, right? It's sealed. It'll last 25 years. But you can go buy big bags of rice. You can buy big bags of beans. You can buy large quantities of potatoes that have been processed into beads or flakes, chips, whatever. Do your best to get food put together. But yeah, discount, you're only going to find true discounts at local discount stores, and they are seeing their shelves getting hit pretty hard in certain places. We got Robert Wilson. How you doing there, brother? Semper Fi. And he checks in and says, I say civil disobedience in large numbers, organized, and vast non-compliance at every turn. That is going to be the order of the day, much like Australia. It's coming. When people, the big motivator here, in my opinion, Robert, is going to be food. If people can't get food, they're not going to be very fucking compliant. They're not going to look at their local government very nicely. They're not going to look at their state government very nicely. They're going to say, how fucking dare you tell me what to do while my kids are hungry, while my family is hungry, while people are getting hungry and starving because you cocksuckers in government screwed us over and fucked the whole system up while you sit around and eat your frickin' filet mignon in your restaurants with no masks on, drinking fine wines, basically giving us the fucking bird. People are going to remember all of this shit, folks. I'm sure Gavin Newsom is going to put on a tattered shirt. It's got some stains on it. He's going to pretend like he's really been out there rolling up his sleeve in the garden and trying to do what he can for his family. He's a fucking liar. He went up to the area where I left in Northern California, way up in extreme Northern California, and he showed up after those fires for photo ops. That is, for an opportunity to stand in front of a camera and act like he gives a fuck. The people weren't happy with him. They wanted him the fuck out of there. He got his pictures and left. He didn't really give a shit. He didn't help anybody. It was a big fuck you, I'm using you, and this tragedy. People are going to remember it, folks. And I can tell you, I am going to probably smile a lot if these people who have caused this, and people like Gretchen Whitmer and Newsom that made it even worse, I'm going to smile when they are held accountable, because it will be good to see justice served on these scumbags, whether they're local, state, or federal, folks. They're scumbags, and they know it. And that's why, like 90 Proof Nancy, they hide behind their fences and barricades. They hide behind their guards who are armed with automatic weapons. That's what they know. They're wrong. They know they've committed serious crimes. They know they've committed treason against the American people, the Constitution. They violated their oaths. They know it, folks. Otherwise, why wouldn't they walk down the street? We got Madagalfa, Maydog Alpha, Mad Dog Alpha 1. Says, I'm hearing more and more about the current military not really backing the people. What are you hearing from current soldiers? What I can tell you, folks, is there is a problem in the military. Now, I like to think with my thinking, when I was in the military, how did we think about America, the Constitution, and government? Well, that thinking has changed. Now, there are two militaries, just like there's two Americas. There's the military that believes in the Constitution and freedom, justice, the American way. They believe in their oaths. They love their country. They love their families, and they want to protect them. And then there are people in the military who are communist pieces of shit, who are there for a paycheck, who are there because they want to exercise government authority. They don't really care about the country. In fact, they hate America. But they are serving in the military so they can get military training and they can get benefits like, paid for education. They think that's just fucking fantastic. They are sellouts. They have no souls. They're scum. And they're in the military. Those are the people that are of concern. Now, I want to ask you this question. Do you think our good military, the American military, not the Marxist military that loves General Milley, that loves Secretary of Defense Austin Lloyd, that loves Joe Biden, how about the real military, the infantry, mechanized, motorized, on foot, doesn't matter. Do you think the MEUs, do you think that recon, do you think that the 101st and 82nd, do you think the Rangers, the Green Berets, do you think these guys are risking their lives in military operations around the world? Do you think the Navy SEALs are risking their lives around the world? For the right reasons or the wrong reasons? Do they support someone like Joe Biden, who doesn't support them, who has no regard for their lives and safety, the same way he had no regard for all of the Americans left behind in Kabul, Afghanistan? I think that a lot of the infantry folks, that is people who are willing to risk their lives to protect their family in this country, I think that they're on our side. But that does not mean that there aren't the others. But I think they're in the support units, right? They're I don't want to make fun of them. But I do think most of these commie pricks are in non-military units or non-infantry units, support units, because they don't want to risk their lives for this country. They hate this country. That's what I think. Anyways, we're over the hour, folks. It has been a long, long week. Hey, man, how you doing there, brother? I just saw you check in. Looks like we lost Jolene, but we got you. I want to thank you, man, also. Man does a fantastic job, folks. He's here every day with us. He's kicking ass. He's taking names. He's breaking off the big blue wrench in people's ass who deserve it. But what I want to say is I think all of us, folks, deserve a nice weekend. I don't know if that's possible for you or for me, but I wish a good weekend for you. Jolene said she had to leave. Mad Dog's question was the last she had. Very good. Thank you, man. It's important, folks. Get recharged. Have some fun if you can. Relax. We've got a long road to hoe ahead of us. The government is not going to back off. They need to punish us a lot more before they start letting up. And once they let up, they're going to find out that things don't fix themselves. People actually have to go to work and start building machines and start building cars and start building things and start planting agriculture, food. Stores don't make the food. It comes from farms, right? There's a lot of people out there that don't understand that grocery stores is not where food is made. There's a lot of fucking ignorance in this country, folks. And sadly, the people who are most ignorant are also the ones who are most empowered. So get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Get it together. Wow. I'll be back with the Worldwide Weekly Wrap-Up Uncensored, and then I'll see you guys Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific for Sunday Night Live at the Zoo. Thank you for all the support that you give us, for the information, for the opinions, for the perspectives, and thank you for sharing with others. That is one of the most critical things we can do at a time when people are confused, uncertain, and they need a lot of help. They need to know what to do and where to go. And coming here is a good start at the Prepared Mind. You guys be cool, Semper Fi, and Godspeed.